Let's go. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can I hear you?
Yes.
What's good?
Let's
Long time.
good.
The
Girl, look at my
hoodie.
hoodie.
Let's go. That's
Look
what
at
I
my
thought.
hoodie.
I saw.
I
I
had to
peeped
rock
the
it.
top of it. I
I had to
recognized.
rock
I
it.
peeped the top, and I was like, I know that hoodie. Let's
Yeah, of
go.
course. It matches the little LA hat I got too, you know?
Let's go. Are you in California right now?
No, I'm actually back on the East Coast, girl.
God, I miss it so bad. I literally just want to fly. Trips to New York right now. My friend just went this weekend. It was 67 round trip. I was like,
Dude,
I'm
it's
here.
crazy. I got
But
to
y'all have like curfews and stuff. I just don't feel safe flying there right now. You know?
Yeah, no, the flight was a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. Like people wearing like double masks and everything. It was really scary. But
Was it like a packed flight?
yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Thank you so much though. It's so like amazing to finally talk to you, girl.
In person, I know. I feel like we've been doing the phone tag back and forth for like
Yeah, yeah,
over a year
yeah.
now, and now
Yeah.
I'm glad finally face to face. I wish it would have worked in person when you were in LA, dude. That would have
I
been
know. I know. Hopefully in the future though. The plan is to
yeah,
have you as the first in person. We can make that work.
that would be dope, dude. Like some sort of like red table talk, like
Yeah,
that'd
yeah,
be
yeah,
super
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Six
But
feet apart, of course, for right now,
oh
but
yeah, of course. Yeah, COVID protocols. Gotta follow that.
yeah,
Gotta follow that. But thank you so much, like I
of
said
course.
before, and like I know you're going through a lot, like especially with the last few months. So my first question to you really is just how has the last few months for you been for you? Because I texted you, obviously you're dealing with Lyme disease and everything. How's that going for you?
Well, it's kind of a day by day thing right now. Some days are better than others, but my prayers have been answered. Like I'm nothing like I was when I was like in the hospital and out of the hospital for when I relapsed 2 months really badly. That was like the end
Wow.
of August to mid beginning of October, and
Uh-huh.
that was my worst. So I'm not any where I was back then, but it's still like a process. I'm starting this thing that seems very promising called Venom Therapy,
Okay.
because I mean it's kind of split because Western medicine believes that antibiotics cure Lyme disease. And so they can't even call it chronic. So like me going to the hospital, they see it as like post-symptomatic Lyme disease, me just like having symptoms and getting sick after. But they can't call it chronic really because like the pharmaceutical industry would be drowned if they were to treat it
Yeah.
any different way besides antibiotics. But the antibiotics don't work and have proven not to work for a lot of people, including me. And people have these rebounds and relapses worse than they even were, because Lyme disease will be dormant for your body, and while you're doing okay, you're doing great. In my case, the past 3 years, it's not like I was even doing great. I was just tolerating the way I feel. I was having horrible insomnia, like I wrote in pieces, like really bad symptoms for 3 years.
Hmm.
And then it just came to a point where my body, it went undormant and kind of gave up in August when I relapsed. But like I said, there's this thing I'm trying called Venom Therapy that actually worked for a lot of people, and it's starting to get some looks. And it
Okay.
sounds crazy, but
There's promise though.
what?
There's promise though, you're saying?
Yeah, there's promise. So it's like a
Yeah.
2 year treatment where basically I'm stinging myself every day with bee venom, but like a lot has to lead up so I can do that safely to like
Okay.
lower my histamine levels, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. But it's known to like reduce inflammation in the body, and it's also like used for a lot of other autoimmune conditions, not just Lyme disease. But it seems very promising. Right now, like I said, I'm doing. There's some like days that are better than others, but I'm like 0 to 100 in how I was. So I'm like
Well,
very
that's great to
thankful.
hear though. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, in my case, when I was in the hospital too, I was getting sicker and sicker, and they didn't realize why. And it was the antibiotics. Once I stopped the antibiotics, I
Really?
still wasn't better, but the antibiotics, my body was just so sick it couldn't take it. So when I stopped the antibiotics, and I had to make that decision for myself and advocate for myself, because they were like, it's not the antibiotics, you have to finish the full course. In my 11th day into it, after I'm already like lost 16 pounds, like this little girl taking
Wow.
550 milligrams 3 times a day, I was like, I'm not taking this anymore. And it made like a drastic difference. My body could not respond to the antibiotics.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's just there's so many misconceptions about Lyme disease too, especially being in California, because deer isn't that prevalent here.
Yeah.
So people on the East Coast know more about it than here. People are like, what is Lyme disease? So it's yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions out here. Yeah.
Yeah. Girl, you're a warrior, man. Shout out to you for
Yeah.
that. But before this all happened, I saw that you heard your song on the radio. What was that like? How did that feel like?
That was I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse in here, but that was surreal. Like that was
No, you're good.
I
Go
mean,
ahead. Go ahead.
well, I mean, so the first station that played it was Nashville, and Nashville has like a very big place in my heart. I love Nashville, and I loved writing there and stuff, but it doesn't have the place in my heart that like Philly has. So when my hometown played it, when
Billy.
Philly yeah, when Philly played it, like my love for Philly goes so strong. I'm so proud to be from Philly. I feel like it's a strong city. I really take pride in being from Philly. So when my hometown played it, that hit home. Like I listened to Q102 growing up and all of that, so that
Yeah,
really
that's
hit home.
crazy. Yeah,
And it was really cool hearing on Apple Music when Beats One played, but Philly was like,
that's
that was
big
the icing.
though.
All of them was amazing, but that was the icing on the cake. I was
Beach
like,
One is huge though. That's
that
amazing.
one, that one was really cool. But that one was interesting too because so when Nashville played it, it was before I got sick. When Philly played it, I was getting like I was sick. I was like going, but we didn't know how bad. It wasn't like my worst. Like it was
Yeah.
just getting bad. And so I literally had like fever, and I pulled myself, put on a hat, like pulled myself to go out inside the car and record a video of me listening to it. And I was like, then like went straight back to bed, like to sleep. I was so sick. And then when Beats One played it, I was really sick too, but in the point where like it still hadn't gotten to the worst. But it was just like that's when it got weird because I was putting on a brave face through social media because people like, oh my god, the radio, all these good things are happening, but inside I would film those things and then be in so much pain, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it got to the point obviously when I was really sick, I was on social media at all. I took a break for like a couple months because I just was like I was posting shit from months ago, like a while ago, and I was just like I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like when you listen to it, did it like make you reflect on like everything that like led up to that one point of you like hearing it?
I was like shaking. I think it was even cool when they announced it. It was really cool hearing like, for instance, like Falling, Trevor Daniels' song came before they played it first in Nashville. And I love that song. And I hear that song on the radio all the time. So then leading into that and Selena Gomez Past Life with Trevor Daniels. So
Okay.
hearing that and then hearing them transition into like me, I was like,
Wow.
I've been listening to like Selena Gomez in the radio since I was younger and I love Trevor Daniels. So I was like, that was super cool.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
Shout out to
It
you.
definitely was like a good first. I do have like goals to check off, like, and that was one I definitely checked off, and like I'm still working towards others obviously, and ones even like in the radio world, like other goals, but that was like definitely a check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it
I
was cool.
want to get to the new song though, because it's been a while since I've covered like your songs and you came out with Better Sad, and it gives
Yes.
me like such like a how could I be mad kind of vibe.
Okay,
And
I like that.
I love all the songs, girl, but I kind of want to know
Yeah.
what's the inspiration behind that song.
Okay, so Better Sad. Honestly, I didn't write a lot of relationship songs. I feel like my whole EP, that was my goal, and I wanted to challenge myself to stay away from writing about relationship songs
Uh-huh.
because I felt like I had a bigger story to tell with my mom, following my mom's path as my mom being an immigrant moving to America from Brazil, then me moving to California from Philly at a similar age at 17. That was where Mood came from. And the rest is like Barricades, Hollywood, my struggle with trying to make that dream come true and all of that.
Hmm.
But then after releasing some music, I was like, because writing relationship songs kind of comes a little bit easier. And then I was like, I'm older. I've been through a lot of relationships. I feel like I can look at this like retrospectively and maturely. And this one was really important to me. So I had a past relationship actually out of Philly.
Okay.
And I was staying in that for a while for a lot of the wrong reasons. And selfishly, I felt like I wasn't in a good place myself. So I was sad with or without the person. And it was just like an easier cope, I guess, to stay in the relationship.
Yeah.
But then I realized I'm better off being sad by myself than having this person drag me down with
Yeah.
me, you know?
Yeah.
No, have this person drag me down with them. Yeah.
Yeah, and on Instagram when you posted about it, you said, I have a little quote right here. It says you found peace and power in being alone and
Yeah.
realized it was sad. Either way, you realized you were better off sad by yourself. And I feel like, especially nowadays, especially with social media too, people are so afraid to be alone. So kind of how did that like empowerment like make you feel, girl? Because I know a lot of people struggle with that.
I struggle with that. I like struggle with that a lot, and I'm still challenging myself more and more. I'm a very independent person. Like I moved across the country by myself, not knowing a single person. I'm like, I know
Yeah,
I'm very independent, but at the same time, I have trouble. I have to push myself for alone time, and I'm an extrovert, and I know I do recharge on some alone time, but sometimes I don't allow myself to have alone time because it is scary, and I feel like a lot of people shy away from alone time because they're scared to be alone with their mind and their thoughts because
exactly.
it can become a scary place even at night, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So it's easier, more comfortable, and safer to be around a person, and even if they're bringing you down, at least you're not going down by yourself, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt. And but then it took a while for me to realize, and when I got out of the relationship, I'm fine on my own. I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm a very independent person. So especially even emotionally, I don't need anyone else to carry me through. And even though it's hard and scary sometimes, especially leaving after that relationship after being in it so long,
Yeah.
it's not like the relationship cured all my problems. I was still sad, but I was better off dealing with, and it was, in the long run, I'm better off being sad by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you've gained like a specific like sense of confidence from that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I gained like confidence in myself, being like, I can do this on my own. I don't need anyone else, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think it was more emotionally where I was like maybe a bit dependent on the relationship, thinking, oh, I'm across the country, I don't know anyone myself. Even if I'm not with this person's making me miserable. It gave me some sort of safety, and because everything that I was doing had no safety to it. I'm across the country by myself, don't know anybody. I'm chasing this crazy thing. Like, meanwhile, like full-time nannying, like there was just a lot going on where nothing felt safe. So the one thing that felt safe, even though it didn't even feel happy, was the relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I was alone, it was hard because I was just like, I didn't have anyone to turn to at night necessarily. I had to be okay with being
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah, I feel that too.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
especially hard because like on social media, like I keep bringing that up because I feel like everyone always brags about how they're always with people and they don't like have that sense of loneliness. But in reality, when you step back from all that, you're able to finally be alone, and people are always scared of that. So it's really a sense of empowerment that you have that.
It builds character too. For me, at least, I feel like it built a lot of character. I feel like
Oh yeah.
stepping out of that relationship, I was definitely a different person than in the relationship, just by having to go through those things on my own. And yeah, it was harder on my own, and there were some days where like it really sucked, but
It's
it's
worth it
just
though.
not. Yeah, it's a way there. The coping mechanism of like being dependent on someone else emotionally, even if you're sad on your own, like
Hmm.
you're so much better off by yourself, because in the long run, it's just gonna hurt you, you know?
Yeah. Now, how has your creative process been with these past few songs? Because the way I see it, like they all have a different story, but like it always has that theme where you're just like, you know what, like I'm done, like I'm fed up with this, and like
Hell
I
no.
can, I can feel like how you like how kind of like sort of angry you like you sound like no, I'm done. So like, are you always aiming to use those stories in your work, and are those do you expect that in your future work as well to carry on those types of stories in your past, or always looking to new experiences to shape your work?
Well, I feel like every experience I have through life, I kind of see, um, I kind of go through life with a songwriting perspective, see what works and what would inspire me to write from. That's kind of, I draw inspiration from a lot of aspects of my life. But I wouldn't say angry. I wouldn't say that, like, for instance, How Could Be Mad is written from a perspective of angriness. Where do you like, is that what the vibe that you get from it when you listen to How Could Be Mad? Did you get a sense of
Yeah,
like
no, that's kind of like that's kind of the wrong word. It's just like I can feel that like you're just
anger, not
you know what,
angriness?
like I'm done. Like how could I be mad? Like you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it made me feel empowered when I was listening to it. I was like, hell
That's what I
yeah.
want. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I want. I want from like How Could It Be Mad? I would want someone to take away like empowerment. I don't want someone to take away this built up resentment and
Yeah,
anger,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's not how I felt writing it. It was more so like, I don't have any of this built up resentment or anger for this person. Like, how could I even like spend time or energy on that when all these good things are happening in my life? Like, you need to get on with yours, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And now with your like upcoming songs that like you obviously probably I don't know if you have planned or not, but like
I actually
oh,
have a song, which is funny. My song that's coming out December 3rd is a similar theme to what you're saying. It's called
okay.
Lonely on Christmas, and it's a Christmas song.
Is
So
that the
when
Christmas song?
Yeah, it's
Let's
coming out December
go.
3rd. I haven't
Yes.
announced anything yet, but I'm sure this maybe will come out like when I've already announced it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's coming out December 3rd,
So
and it's called
excited.
Lonely on Christmas. And when people think of a Christmas song, and even the title Lonely on Christmas, it sounds like I'm sad to be lonely on Christmas. I want someone, but it's coming from like a similar perspective to my recent music, where I'm saying go go go, leave me alone lonely on Christmas, I'm good on my own, I don't need you type of thing. I can do all the things you were to do for me on Christmas myself. And it was funny because when I wrote that, I wrote it with my friend Sophie on FaceTime, and my Sean, who produces my music, a lot of my music, he
Mhm.
was like, this doesn't give like a big Christmas vibe. It's kind of like, because he thinks it should be like happy feel good Christmas, but I was like, no, the empowerment is what is the feel good of that song. Like,
Yes,
you can
yes.
go leave me lonely on Christmas. And I felt like it's different because I've heard so many Christmas songs. I've heard it over and over again, and no one's hit it from that perspective. Like that one person that only hits you up when you're home in December. Like, I don't need that anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
gone by January anyway. You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
like,
girl, no, you
whatever.
really have that power though. Like I've never really seen that in an artist where like song after song, like when I listen to it, like seriously, I'm like, Hell yeah, I can do that. Like, especially,
Okay, I love that. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. I don't want you to get anger from how could we be mad, but I could
yeah,
understand maybe the perspective, and it's interesting to know what the listener gets. But I wanted someone to feel empowerment, you know?
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. But with these last like couple of songs, though, what area of your music do you think you have developed in the most?
In what way do you mean that?
Just like in general, because like I know the creative process for any song is different, and obviously you since last year you've evolved so much in just like your aesthetic with your songs and the themes. So where do you think you have evolved the most since dropping like those songs in the beginning of the year till now?
I think I've really grown as a songwriter, first of
Okay.
all. I think I've grown as an artist in person too. I do like everything myself, like well, I have a manager and I have Sean produces a lot of music, so I do have a team around me, but like Instagram and all that stuff, I don't have anyone doing that for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm still an independent artist, so I do everything myself. Like even the cover art, I do all of that myself.
Wow.
So I really feel like I have grown as an artist and really like because I wanted to when I started this, I was just when I was releasing my EP and everything like that, I knew who I was as a person, but I really did not know who I was as an artist. I love to sing music. I did a lot of like cover singing, but then I realized like you can't make a living and you can't make a career out of singing covers.
Hmm.
So after I realized that, it took me a while to like figure out my sound and not just figure out who I was as a person, but understand who I was as an artist. So I feel like I've really honed in
I
on that
love
in the
that.
past year. I do feel like I've honed in on it in the past year, and it's been evolving, and it's nice that I've had people alongside watching like my me go from my EP to what I have coming, because I feel like I definitely you can see the growth from then to now, and just in a lot of other ways, even in my sound. I feel like I've really honed in on my sound because I never had done the whole recording artist thing. Growing up, I've always been like, obviously in entertainment, I was always singing, doing theater. I love to act, but I never really honed in on this. And I really wrote just for therapeutic purposes. I didn't really like write as a career. I'd write songs for myself, not for other people. And I still write songs for myself, but now I'm also giving them to other people. So I'm trying to make this into a career. So now that I'm focusing completely on the recording artist thing, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Do you feel like what you just said? Do you feel like because you obviously gained a following now ever since you dropped that EP? Do you ever feel pressure to like to hear the opinions of what other people are saying about your music, or do you try to zone that out?
I take everything with a grain of salt. Obviously, like I write what I like. I'm not gonna write like what someone else likes just because it might work or stick. That's
Yeah.
not authentic to me, and that's not gonna help me in the long run. That's not like in my eyes. That's not someone with a career with longevity. Someone who's just doing what works in the moment is it's gonna go out of style. You know what I'm saying? I want to
Yeah.
write music that at some point is timeless, you know? And so if I write it for myself, I feel like I can't really go wrong. But I do like, obviously, I love to hear what people think, and I take it with a grain of salt and do what I like best, I guess.
That's
Yeah.
dope. Now, I've obviously seen your growth, like literally just looking at like the EP and now. And this, I feel like this chapter of your music career is like very special. And it's really only the beginning. But how would you describe kind of this chapter of your career so far?
I'm nervous as hell. I feel like I come up no, like I come
I
across
love
like
that.
no, I'm serious. Like I'm nervous shitless right now. And I think a lot of people in the music industry feel that way. So it's nice to feel like I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
But as a new artist, not signed, still independent, this time fucking sucks. Like, and
it
it's
does.
amazing in some ways. I've had so much time, like, um, I've had a lot more time to really like hone in on my craft. I've been working on my voice, like working on my writing. I've had a lot. I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the times I've been healthy and stuff. But it's really nerve wracking. I don't know what the future like holds in store for me. It's really hard right now because I feel like a lot of people. Um, it's hard to take a chance on a new artist right now because a lot of the return investments on like live shows and everything, and since that's not really possible, all I can do right now is really release music. And as much as I love doing that, I love my favorite part of the artist's like the whole artist career is performing. I love the stage. Growing up in theater, I love being on stage, but I'm so scared. Like right now I have my song coming out December 3rd, my Christmas song, and then I have Deeper coming out January, which I wrote a year and a half ago. So it's funny,
Really?
like, no, that's just like how it works. It's so funny, but
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this one to come out for a while, but I don't know after that. I really like it's I'm going into the unknown kind of, which is scary.
Yeah.
But it's nice talking to a lot of my other friends in music. Everyone feels the same way. And even people not in music, every industry is really unsure right now. No one knows what's going to happen. So I'm thankful for everything going on right now, but I am really scared. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's normal. And it's like everything's so unsure now. So how have you like really maintain your creativity through all this, really? Like trying to like keep up with writing songs and everything.
Just writing, drawing inspiration, not getting mad at myself when I'm not having any inspiration to be creative, pushing myself even those days that I'm not to write, but if it's not good, not like, because I was just like, beginning of quarantine, you have so much time in your hands, you're like, I'm
Yeah.
about to write a hit every
I do
day.
this,
And then
this.
I burnt out, and I'm so ADHD too that like I was like, yeah, I had that mentality and it was great, but I burnt out. So I needed to be kinder to myself, which helped a lot because I'm really hard on myself. But yeah, I have a schedule really helps me. I still nanny, so during the week I am nannying, and then I use the time around nannying to do my music. So having like a routine and schedule is really helpful for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I
Which
want
is
to.
hard because of quarantine, because there's not, besides like obviously my nanny in music, there's not much routine and schedule. It's not
Oh
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like even sessions are weird. I don't like the whole Zoom session. I've gotten used to it for a little, but it's not like being in person, and I don't prefer to do these Zoom sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like nothing is like in person. You know, like you can't really
I
like
know.
do that at all.
But especially with this, like if you're running to tracks, it's one thing. It's with another writer or something like that. That's fine. But like starting a whole new idea with like a producer, two writers in like this Zoom, it's like, oh my God, like it's just like it's
I
a
can't
little
even
much.
imagine.
Yeah, I just feel like obviously everyone prefers it in person, but that's been an adjustment.
Yeah. Now I want to go back though to when you're growing up in Philly. Shout out to Philly, by the way. But
I love Philly. I like literally. I feel like literally my biggest personality trait I identify by being from Philly. It's just because
honestly,
I am so
yeah,
proud to be from Philly. I love Philly.
yeah.
I
No,
spent
I want
my
to
entire
ask
life
though.
there, so.
Yeah, I want to ask though, what's your biggest influence you've gotten from Philly since moving to LA? Because obviously those it's East Coast and West Coast. So really, what have you learned?
Well, I feel like what I took from Philly with me is like that East Coast mentality, that grind and hustle, like can't be taught. And you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It's not even just Philly that taught me that. Like my parents are so hardworking, like, and especially my mom, an immigrant, like moving to America with $100 in her, my mom's whole
Shout
story,
out to
like,
her, man.
no, my mom's a hero. So I'm just like, I got to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? But it's also Philly that instilled that in me. Everyone in Philly, I feel like the city just gives off a very grind hustle mentality, and taking that with me, I really appreciate it, because I feel like in LA, sometimes some people didn't have that instilled in them growing up. So I brought with me that mentality here, which I really think helped me pave my path here in LA, bringing that with me. The people are very different. People in Philly, just from my observation, this is just like kind of a general observation, but they are a little more blunt. They say what they mean, and
Mm-hmm.
I like that better. I don't really have
Me
the
too.
time to be
Yeah, yeah,
sugarcoating. I'm
yeah.
gonna say what I mean. So I'm saying sometimes I feel like I've had to ring it back a little in LA just
Yep.
to like save some feelings, save some friendships, save some feelings. But yeah, that's definitely some observations that I've made. People start work there earlier. Like in here, it's
Yeah.
funny. Like the sessions here start at noon. I'm like, why? And that's like during the day. Noon, that's no, it's like 1. It's like 1 in LA. Nashville's like 12, and then the one I was in New York writing, which I don't do a lot of writing in New York, that was like 10 a.m., which I was like, this makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like people just want to sleep in or whatever. I just think it's funny.
Yeah. I gotta ask the ultimate Philly question though. Geno's or Pats?
Pats.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
a Geno's guy, man. Is that your
Okay.
favorite
Well,
cheesesteak spot?
the thing is, I'm allergic to gluten and dairy,
Oh
so
wow.
like I can't
Oh,
really have an opinion.
oh.
But from like French fries and also like just the vibe and like my friend's opinion, that's my hot take. But yeah, I feel like I'm such a fraud from Philly never being able to have a cheesesteak. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, you gotta check out Carmen's in the terminal.
yeah.
Carmen's is so good, man. That's probably my
Wait,
favorite.
there's one that my friends never want to go to Pat's and Gina's. They want to go to like what's another? Wait, what's like? Gosh,
All I
I
know,
forget.
I always go to Carmen's, man, in the Regan.
It's not either of those. It's another one I feel like I wouldn't know because I'm not eating from there, so I
Yeah.
don't get it like a bill from there.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's go back to when you're 17 though, and you decide to drop out of school, which is crazy to me. That really inspires me when I hear about that.
Cool.
You moved to LA. Tell me
Yes.
how that was, man.
Scary. But I
I
also,
can't
because
even
people are
imagine.
like, yeah, I at the time, I was 17, but everyone, like, for instance, now I'm 20. All my friends are like 29, 28. I was doing theater at the time, so I was around a lot of adults. So a lot of people, I had a really good head on my shoulders, and I, a lot of people would like to say, I don't want to like say this about myself, but I was like well beyond my years. So I felt ready. I was not like going to LA with some like party mentality. I went because I just like needed to chase this. I had a full plan. I found a roommate online. I didn't know anyone. I found a full-time nannying job on care.com before moving. Like I had everything set. I wasn't just like, let me move to LA. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my parents, I'm lucky that they were super supportive of the idea. Like I said, I love my brother. My parents would never let my brother move out of the house at 17. It's just a different from kid to kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh
I
no,
knew
I
what
get
I wanted. I'm doing fine in school, even though school was not my thing.
it.
I
Mhm.
like was doing fine, and all during the class, my parents knew I'm researching auditions. I'm researching, like, trying to connect with people. I was not even like doing school. So at that point, I'm putting time into what I'm not even trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So they were really supportive of the idea. So, and my mom being an immigrant too, my mom left her country when she was 18. So I was following a similar path. And so when I was 17, I moved to LA. I'm trying to think that. So I dropped out my junior year of high school, and then I finished my junior year, and then I dropped out. So after my
Okay.
junior year, I dropped out, and then I moved to LA, and I was here for like 2 months, working full-time nannying too. I was really not even, like, I was here in LA, but I wasn't. I was just nannying when I was like, I could be doing
You
this in
weren't
Philly
like
too.
here. Yeah.
It was hard, like, finding a way to manage my time. And my first thing that really, like, I made my first friends there. I first started making some music connects, which actually led me to like my manager and stuff, Crave Cafe. Like my friends now will joke and be like, oh, JUJ's friends are either from Philly, from camp, or from Crave. Like it's just like funny. But that was where I found my first friends. So I would go to this open mic every Tuesday called Crave, and I would sing. And I remember I went there the first night I moved to LA with like my binder, and then no one uses sheet music. I still have the video. It's a video of me being like, I just moved to LA today and I'm singing. And I'm like, will someone accompany me? And everyone's like, what's the chords? Like, I don't use sheet music. I just was like
Oh,
this little newbie from New York.
yeah.
But yeah, but so I was there for 2 months, and then, well, the funny thing is, not funny, but I was diagnosed with Lyme disease right before I moved to LA.
I was gonna
Like,
ask about that. Yeah.
yes, I was diagnosed right before I moved to LA, and then I moved to LA, and I just didn't want to delay my move because like I said, in barricades and stuff, there was a lot of, even in mood, there was a lot of people having a lot of doubts, and I didn't care because I didn't have any self-doubt in myself, but there was a lot of people being like, oh, she's not gonna be able to do it. So I was like, how's this gonna look when I actually can't do it because of my Lyme disease? And I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to prove them right for myself. Like, I don't want that. I want to have that self-validation that, yeah, I could do this. So I pushed through. I was gonna figure out and get some treatment in LA, which wasn't a good idea. I just got sicker and sicker, and I was just pushing through, working full time for this nannying family, finally starting to make friends, make a community in LA. Like I really felt like everything was coming together for me when I got really sick to the point where I wasn't even able to drive. So a friend I met from Crave ended up driving me to the hospital and stuff, where we made the decision that I was going to have to go back home to go get treatment and stuff around my family. I was a minor at the time, and that was heartbreaking for me because I was only here for 2 months, and I'm like, damn, like that's why when I went home, no one even knew I was home. I didn't post one thing on social media. Yeah, like my friends and stuff, but
Yeah.
my close friends, but I didn't post one thing on social media because it was heartbreaking for me. And that's kind of what Hollywood's about. I became super disillusioned with the idea of LA. I had a lot of self-doubt, like, is this not gonna pan out the way that I'm oh so hoping for, you know?
Yeah. But you always, like, to me, you're coming off as like a very confident person. Did you have that confidence when you decided to move out to LA, or is that something you continuously have to build on?
No, I think I really have that confidence moving to LA. I just think it's funny when you said confidence, like right now, because like I said, like right now I'm scared shitless. I don't know, like I'm
Yeah.
coming across like, yeah, like I'm so happy about all the music that I'm writing and putting out, but the plan going into 2021 is like, for me, I'm really trying to figure it out and put it into the works. It's just a really interesting time with music, and I'm just seeing what fits where and where I fit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you have a moment when you move, like you moved to LA and you're obviously there now, but do you remember like your first moment when like you're in LA, in Hollywood, when you're just like, man, like I'm really here, like I'm really doing this? Do you have that type of moment?
I feel like a lot of those moments were like stuff that came with my music.
Okay.
Like, for instance, like when I released a song either with like Vic Mensa, when we were making that music video, I was like, shit. Or like when I was traveling doing my music, I was like, okay, like I'm the type of person though, like I will not rest until I'm like, you know what I'm saying, where I'm fulfilled in where I want to be. And just making music fulfills me. So I'm lucky that like my definition of success is just being able to do what I love and do that for a living, you know what I'm saying? So that's everyone has a different definition of success, but I will not rest until I see all of this through. But there has been a ton of moments. My first show in LA, I was like singing Hollywood, like me writing the song about LA and having my first show in LA. I'm like, fuck, like seeing my mom, like my whole family couldn't come, but my mom was able to come, and like seeing my mom in the audience and stuff, like I really had a moment where I was like, shit, this is happening, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But definitely within my music, I think I've had a lot of those surreal moments, the radio being one, or just after writing it, like after I wrote Deeper in London, which is coming out in January, that one was like, that's one of my favorite songs probably my favorite song that I've written. I wrote that recorded a year and a half ago, but I saved that one till last because I just like, I love that song so much, and it's just so dear that I, after writing that song, I even had like a surreal moment of like, I'm writing the music I've dreamed of writing, you know?
Yeah. How was it like going to London? I can't even imagine. Like, I always wanted to go there. How's it like?
I love London, honestly. Well, because I'm a very big city person. I love cities. So my dream would be to like live in New York. As much as like I mean, look at I have like New York.
Hey.
New York. It's all New York. This was a $15 tapestry actually from Amazon, which I'm like super proud of. I'm so good at thrifting stuff. I'm so good at thrifting stuff, but I love this tapestry. Yeah.
I love that.
New York is like my favorite place in the entire world. I would like love to live. I love LA too, but like there's something about the energy of the city, and that's just like where I want to end up when I'm older and settle down in New York. But London had a very similar energy, which I really, really loved and could see myself living there as well. So that was like my favorite music place. Well, Sweden was my favorite, but like overseas was some of my favorite music places to write. So London was my first favorite when I was writing, but that was until I went to Sweden. In Sweden, I really just felt like everyone, it was more so not the city, it was the people that I was writing with. I felt like I really connected with the people I was making music with there. But London, the energy is very similar to New York. I really like the hustle and bustle, and I'm a very big like people person, so I like being able to see people on the street, and I like to people watch and all of that. Yeah. Also, since I love theater, that's why it makes sense that New York and London are my two favorite places, because my dream is to like be on Broadway or be on the West End, specifically to be in Les Mis and play Eponine. That's like the name of my dog too.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
But I know I literally even named my dog. I have like Les Mis posters. I named my dog Eponine, but
oh my God.
Most people wouldn't know that since I'm like really just doing the pop thing right now. Yeah. I grew up doing theater, and my dream is to do theater, to see that through. But that's what's cool about London. It has the West End, and Les Mis has been stationed there and hasn't left. So I think that's the reason I really like it too.
Yeah, I love that. Man, when were you there last? Was that during when you were writing your first like EP, or is that
No. I wrote my first EP I wrote my first EP in LA. I wrote all of it in LA.
Okay. No, that's actually my next question too, because like when you go back to that version of JUJ, when you released JUJ as you to now, what would you tell that JUJ in the past that you know now? One thing.
Don't be afraid of how you feel. I feel like, especially when I was writing with other people, I would kind of like turn my ideas and writing, instead of like saying how I actually felt and what I wanted to incorporate. And I was like very true to myself in writing that and writing my story. But I think I really cared what the other co-writers thought or the producers thought, being like, oh, are they going to think this line is good as that? I don't really care. I'm the artist. I'm the one releasing it. If I think it's good, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I care a lot less now. So I would just say, tell her to care less, you know?
Yeah, I love that. And obviously it's been a really difficult year. What do you think, and you've been through a lot, obviously, but what have you learned this year that will really influence your work going forth?
I guess no one can do it but yourself. Like, and I already knew that, but this year has really required me to really put on my big girl pants and make it work. When everyone was telling me like, it's not going to work for you this year. No one's going to, like with Corona happening, no one gives a shit about a new artist. No labels are going to sign a new artist. No one's going to put their time or money into a new artist when they're not going to see the return investment in touring and all that stuff. And why would they choose to take a chance on a new artist when there's stuff that there are people who have been in it and it proves to work with them already. They already have the numbers, they already have the following. So why should they take a chance on you? And to not accept that for an answer and to kind of be like, I'm going to make it happen no matter what.
Yeah.
I've already had the mentality though. This year's really taught me that, I think, to be like, it's more like, fuck that, you know?
Hell yeah, I love that. No, I finished the interview always with these two questions. I feel like you always will give amazing insight to all of them. But the first one really is, what is one like creative tip you could give to anyone, whether it's in the music field, photography, any creative field? What would you tell them?
I think it was what I was saying earlier, and like I feel like a lot of people wouldn't expect me to say this because the question that you're asking, I feel like people would want to know, like, how can you make yourself be creative all the time? But my more thing is like, be kind to yourself. Like, you can continue to be creative, but if the stuff that you're being creative isn't always good all the time, it's not always going to be good all the time. So, you know what I'm saying? Be kind to yourself. And there's this quote by Ed Sheeran I really like, you have to when you turn on the faucet, you have to let all the rusty water come out before having clean water. So if you just like are like, oh, I'm not gonna write anyone, all these songs suck, then you're not gonna get to that good song, because you have to let all those bad songs come. It takes practice. So be kind to yourself when you're writing these things that may not work, and just keep on at it.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's very important. But last question, what is your definition of creativity?
My definition of creativity.
Yes. You're based on your experiences and what you've been through. What's your definition of being?
Ooh.
See, that always stumps people, man. I always get everyone.
Okay, I like that. I guess I would say like, when I think creativity, I like really think of the word unique. So I feel like using your talents or using your talents to draw inspiration from different aspects of life in your own unique way. Because I can be creative in a different way than you can be creative. So I feel like everyone has to find their own way, I guess, to be creative, stay creative. It's very unique to everyone. I can't tell you how to be creative or me how to be creative. And I think that's the cool thing, because I'm going to draw inspiration from different things than you are. And that's what's super unique. So I guess to continue to look for the inspiration in life that other people might not see.
I love that. That's dope.
I don't know if that works.
No, I love that. Everyone always gives a different insight, and I was very curious to know what you were going to say. But that's a wrap, and I really just want to say,
so good. You are so good at giving interviews too. Look at you. We had a great conversation. You are so easy to talk. You're so easy to talk to. You're born for this. Let's go.
Thank you, girl. No, I love doing this stuff really. I didn't really like recognize it for like, I don't know, like these recent months, but I just want to say thank you to you though, because you're like one of the first artists and my team affiliate like covered, and it's really been an honor just to see how you've grown, constantly supporting me, and this comes from the bottom of my heart. And
I will support anyone who like is that passionate and hardworking as you are, and especially from Philly. I can't say no.
Yeah. But
I mean, I could say no, but you are amazing. Yeah.
Oh no, girl, you're the best, and I can't wait to hear the new Christmas song. I need that on my holiday playlist.
I'm excited. No, I'm really excited for this one. December 3rd.
Let's get it, and I'll definitely keep in touch with you. Just keep being creative, and hopefully keep in touch.
Yes, I will keep creative, and I'll see you soon.
See you soon.